What's going on, everybody? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody just calls me Ciotti, and I no longer look like a homeless person. Look at this. Look what's going on here. I finally chickened out of the game of chicken that I tend to play every winter with my hair, and I gave in. My hair won. It looked ridiculous. I had to go get it cut. $40 later, good to go. 2 months from now, we'll see what happens. Thanks for coming over from Joshua Bardwell's stream. Everybody that's new here, try to keep this stream pretty loose. Today is Q&A day. The European audience shipping on the giveaway stuff is just brutal. So I do the giveaways on Monday, which are something that you get from joining the Patreon, which is linked down here somewhere. And yeah, so today we just hang. I'm going to try to see how long I can last. My idea for today is 2-hour stream as usual. I'm going to cut the stream at the end of that, and then I'm just going to type in a new stream name, drop a new thumbnail in real quick, and restart the stream for possibly another 4 hours. I've got 2 Acrobrats over here that one needs a new ESC, the other one needs to be scratch built. I've got a CB3 somewhere that needs a new flight controller. I've got 2 5-inch rigs that need some love. So yeah, that is more stuff than I could possibly get done in 4 hours, but we'll see how far we get. Yeah, I pay more for haircuts because my hair is like a big-ass Brillo pad and it looks ridiculous, and I just go to a cool salon, whatever one my wife Kristen is going to at the moment, and they give me a good haircut that I wait 2 months to get fixed. So it's worth it. $5, every couple weeks versus 40 for 2 months. Works for me. Whatever. Support people that do good work, I guess. Cool. Hey, thanks everybody for coming. New Band-Aid because I'm a crazy person and have mental illness problems, and my anxiety comes out with biting my fingernails. It's disgusting and horrible, but hey, at least I don't have ball cancer, I guess. I've just got brain brokenness. So yeah, let's do a thing here. Over in the chat, we've got Proton to Go was first, then it was Chris Hugman, Matthew DeHarsh, Fly Farmer FPV in the house. Parts for Bent Toys is here. Darij Kaik asking about Patreon. We'll talk about that in a minute. Tiago is here. Yeah, Boyd in the house. ESK Race, Athic, Sick Fast, Tiago again. Euro is here. Spudnik, it's Blunty, Ken Ford, Big Willie FPV, Big Willie FPV. Nathaniel LaBouffe. All right, we got Supercell. What's up, Billy? I got your stuff here. We're going to talk about it in a bit. June Loco 619, Adam Bostwick, it's Blunty, Supercell again, Drone 3 Droid, Drone E Droid, what's the 3? Drone 3 Droid? Drone 3 Droid, tell me what the pronunciation's supposed to be. I think that 3 might supposed to be a backwards E? I don't know. I'm old. I don't know that leet stuff. Oh man, I just dated my shit out of myself. Tweet FPV is here. What's going on, Tweet? Tweet and I have something really cool planned for you guys that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Tweet, if I forget about it, do me a favor and tag me to make sure I cover it. I have a ton of stuff that I want to cover on this stream. I just left myself a note, though, so in theory I won't forget it. Jim Golden is here. What's up, Jim? There we go. Darij again. We've got a little bit of June Loco again. Big Willie FPV again, just because he's got a cool name. ESK Race, Mongo FPV, Quad McJelly Drone. Quad McJelly Drone. What's the story behind that? What's a jelly drone? Give us the story behind it. If there's no story, then it's just an awesome name. So far, you've got the best name in the chat. Let's keep going, though, see if somebody can dethrone you. Yeah, Boyd again. Big Willie FPV again. Big Willie's close. He's close, but come on. Quad McJelly Drone? Come on now. Come on. John Dyson, Jason Peters, Nathaniel LaBouffe again. Keep wrecking that name. Adam Bostwick. Jay Drones is here. Port Clinton Duck. What? Port Clinton Duck in the house. FPV Hans. June Loco again. There's Blitz FPV. Parts for Bent Toys. Airbender FPV. Engage FPV. All right, Dark Sagan is here. I think I owe Dark Sagan a roll or two tomorrow night. Dark, don't let me forget if that's the case. Or I could just be making stuff up. Mr. Sprinkles in the house. Sickfast is here. Oliver W. We've got a little bit of Blitz FPV again. FPV Hans again. Ooh, we're at the bottom. You guys better hurry if you want to hear your name read out. Drone 3 Droid again. Pile of Carbon. Tweet FPV again. Dorije again. 661 Focus for Life. And Hugo A Bear. Is that how it is supposed to be pronounced, Hugo? A Bear? Know Your Joe. Big Willie FPV. 661 Droney Droid. Dr. One Droid, Drone Droid, Doctor on 3D Roid. I am more confused than I've ever been. Your description has made it worse. But that's okay, what the hell. AZ Drone Dude, Dark Sagan, that was you. Yep, cool. June Loco, Big Speed, B Fergie 10, Sky Soldier, Simon Saucy, and Nathaniel LaBouffe. That's it. I'm actually going to stop it there. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming over. If it's your first time here, mess mine up again, Nathaniel says. If it's your first time here, thanks for coming over. If you've been here for a while, do me a favor. When you see the new folks forgetting to tag me in comments, grab it, tag me, give them credit, and let's talk about mad questions. Big fat Scottish FPV, says Quad McJelly Drone. I don't know if Big Fat Scottish FPV is better or Quad McJelly Drone is better. I think I still like Quad McJelly Drone. Blizzard FPV saying BQE, BQE, BQE. June Loco, you don't win anything. What are you talking about? What'd you win? All right, let's roll. What do we got? At tag in chat. All right, cool. Let's go over to the second monitor here real quick, and I want to show you guys something. For everybody that's new, when you tag my name at CiottiFPV, oh God, excuse me, woo! It shows up in orange. There are enough people coming to these streams now where I just kind of can't read all the comments, so if you have a good question or just want to scream obscenities at me, tag me at CiottiFPV. That way I'll actually see it. In a second here, I'm going to scroll up, go through all the chats with my name tagged, and then we will move on. So, yeah, long-timers, patrons, do me that favor. If you see somebody not tagging me with a really good question, just tag me, give them credit, and let's talk about it. All right, what else do we have before we get going here? Let me go to my little bullet point list here. FPV Therapy is a Facebook group that I have created. About a month or so it's been going, and it's been going really well. We're up over 100 members so far. I heard a statistic the other day that it's actually 1 in 4 that deal with mental illness. So 1 in 10 is the previous statistic I'd heard. I thought that was kind of low. 1 in 4, 1 in 5 seems a lot more realistic to me. Mental illness is something that doesn't go away. It's a straight up illness, guys. Like it's not just, oh hey, cheer up. Believe me, if I could just cheer up, I would. I absolutely would. I've tried a whole bunch of times in the last 20 plus years that this has been hitting me hard. And it's just not quite that easy, unfortunately. So, yeah, come on over if you or anybody you know, or if you just got some weird stuff going on in your brain that you can't necessarily explain. If you've ever thought of suicide, stuff like that, come on over, read, talk, share. We can probably help. A lot of us have been dealing with this for a long time. I've done a ton of research. I've gone through a ton of therapy for it. And yeah, we would love to help you out. So come on over. Here comes the link into the chat. You can just find it by typing in FPV Therapy. If you or anybody that you know has something going on, send them over. Get them on over. We can help. It's something that doesn't get talked about, and it's kind of the worst. It's like sort of the perfect storm. Mental illness tells you that you're alone and that you shouldn't talk about it. Society doesn't really want to hear you talking about it. Like, I'm sure a bunch of you right now don't want to hear me talking about this, but it's something that needs to be talked about. And yeah, suicide is a very scary thing and has taken a lot of really good people from us. So come on over, let's talk, let's share, and maybe you'll feel a little bit better. All right, on to non-real life things. Affiliate links down here. Oop, let me change the scene. There we go. Affiliate links down here. Don't cost you anything. If you can remember to do it, that's awesome. It gets free money sent my way, 2%, whatever the hell it is. And then all of the money from Patreon and affiliate links and all that nonsense goes right back into this bench here so that we can get some more fun stuff to test, smash, destroy, and get good info on. So if you can remember, the affiliate links are super easy. If you click one, you don't even have to buy that product. You just have to do an order. When you click the affiliate link, it drops that person's number or whatever into a cookie, and then that whole order, they get a couple percent, and everybody wins. So there's that, and then there's also a Discord link down there. Fair warning, I don't spend a lot of time in Discord. I have a lot of other things going on, so getting free of all of those to spend a bunch of time in Discord is a little bit rough, but I try to check it a couple times a week. See a couple people joined FPV Therapy already. Very cool. I confirmed you. Anybody else who joins, I'll confirm you at the end of the stream. I'm not hating on you. Speaking of the stream, 6 hours. What do you guys think about that? Think we can do it? I don't think so. I think my voice will go. I gotta save some voice for tomorrow night's stream with the giveaways. So we'll see. My thought was if I can stream all the way up until Jamie's 9 o'clock, Jamie Ann, Little Seller Fox's 9 o'clock stream, I thought that would be kind of cool. To give a whole day's worth of streaming for all of the other non-sports ball people to just hang out and not have to think about the Super Bowl all effing day. For anybody that didn't see it in the chat, I'm not a sports ball guy. I was so I have a tendency to get way too into things and drive them into the ground. It's been like that since I was born, and the first thing I ever did that with was sports. I was super into sports growing up, and then when I got to college, I was super bored with all sports, and I just never looked back. It's never something that ever interested me again. And eventually, after college, I got into motorsports, which is a sport that requires 2 balls instead of just 1. Oh, that pissed somebody off. So yeah, that's my deal. I am not into sports ball. Sorry. I don't even know who's playing, to be honest with you guys. Is it the Philadelphia Flyers? Are they playing today against the Rangers? Are they? Rangers could also be a baseball team, I think. Are the Rangers still a baseball team? Who the hell knows? Moving on from sports ball, let's do some chat catch up. What do you say? Tiago tagged me first. He asked, have you seen the 20 by 20 like that Z's FC that you can solder the VTX and the RX2 on the flight controller? I have not, Tiago. Are you saying, like, is there any product out there that's like that? Or are you saying that there is one that I should know about? I haven't seen one. I can't imagine a world where you'd be able to solder both of those things to a 20 by 20, but who the hell knows? Billy just sent me a message on Facebook. Let's make sure that it's not like, you know, your mic isn't working or your face looks like shit or you got a big booger. All right, cool. It's car related. Billy, we'll talk in a bit. We'll talk in 6 hours, I guess. All right, so Tiago, let me know. Adam Bostwick says, first things first, who's your team for the Super Bowl? Went over that. It's Blunty says, did his first split S with his Tiny Hawk on 2S. Very cool. Keep going, Blunty. Smash it, destroy it. Repeat. Rebuild it, then repeat. Billy asking if I got to fly it yet. He is talking about this hyper low vert. Is this the vert, Billy? I should have looked that up. Billy sent this over for tuning and for a giveaway, actually, because that's just the kind of guy that he is. Billy being Supercell in here. So I'm going to fly this. I'm going to tune this. I was going to take it apart, but what a nightmare this thing looks like to take apart. I have a feeling that might be why Billy sent it through, is because I cannot possibly imagine having to work on this thing all the time. Like, the design is kind of brilliant in a lot of ways if you don't have to take it apart. If you have to take this thing apart, though, it looks like a nightmare. I mean, it just looks like a lot of things are going to have to come apart to do that. But I don't know. What I am going to try is pulling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's a chance that this middle plate will just pop off. And if that's the case, then it's not that bad to work on. unless you have to do anything other than that. If you just have to get it to stack, and if this plate comes off, which now that I look at it, I think it actually does. It's not the end of the world, but doing anything else looks kind of rough. Yeah, like I said, the design is super interesting, and I kind of can't see this ever breaking because they've triangulated both the front and the rear, and they used unbelievably thick carbon here. This looks like 6 or 7 mil thick carbon. The fact that it's not thick in this direction here, in this direction, is fine because these are all triangulated, right? If you put a ton of force in this direction and try to break this like that, this guy is going to take a lot of that force, and it's going to do a much better job because of the angle that it's at, because it's triangulated. Same thing up front. If you try to break these arms with a bunch of force in this direction, the fact that it's an A-arm, like on a car, is going to make it extremely strong. So yeah, very, very cool frame design. It's got a lot going on. I'm willing to bet that it's also very heavy because it's got a lot of hardware on it, but I am intrigued. I've always liked Hyperlow's frames. Never really pulled the trigger on them because they always seemed to me like they would be a little bit of a nightmare to work on, but this one will tell me that for sure, and I can't wait. Thanks, Billy. Very cool of you. I will get this tuned up, and we will do a giveaway for it, and that'll be awesome. That'll also be a hell of a giveaway for you guys. Cool. What else do we have? We've got Darij asking if I tried the diatone motors. Which diatone motors are you talking about, Darij? What else do we have? Blitz FPV, $40 for a haircut. Mine costs $5. Talked about it. Looking respectable. CiottiFPV, parts for bent toys. Thank you, brother. Did it for you guys. All for you guys. Dark Sagan saying, what's up? Blitz saying, opinion on USB-C for a flight controller. I don't know. I mean, is it here's what I want to know. Is it stronger? Like yeah, is it stronger? Does it solder down in a way that's better to the board, or does it resist like being crushed? Like that's a problem I've had with a couple of the USB, micro USB, I guess it would be. If they can just get crushed, and then once they get crushed, you really can't fix them. So I don't know if the USB-C is better in that respect, then hell yeah, let's do it. Also, it needs to not weigh anymore. I don't know if we'll ever need that kind of speed, right? Like the current setup, there's never really a time that I can think of that the speed of the micro USB is a problem. So I don't know. There's so much stuff that's still micro USB. I feel like it's going to stick around forever. So I don't think it's going to be a situation where like there's a point where we've gotten rid of all of our standard, current micro USB cables. So who knows? But it's an interesting thing. It would kind of be cool to be able to hook the flight controller up with the same cable from the GoPro, right? That would be one, I guess. Yeah, I guess if we get rid of the current USB, I don't know if there's any other things that really share that are in our flight bags per se. So I guess maybe we would have one less cable. Who knows? We will find out more as it goes on to more whatever. Oh my God, here's my name a whole bunch. All right. YouTube did the thing with the chat where it scrolled all at once. Here we go. Oliver W. is quad cuts out at half throttle. Any suggestions? First suggestion is going to be to put your warnings on your OSD on the bottom, and when it cuts out, see what the warning says. The warning could say like runaway. If it says runaway, you've got a problem with vibrations, physical vibrations on the quad. It's basically starting to vibrate so hard that the flight controller is saying, oh my God, this thing is going to go Tasmanian devil and run away to the moon, and it's just killing it for you. So get your warnings on your OSD, see if the warnings are saying anything. If the warnings aren't saying anything, what I need to know is when it cuts out, is it cutting out and dropping straight down, or is it tumbling down? So like when I say, is it tumbling down, if the problem is with a motor or with an ESC, when it cuts out, that motor will drop, and there'll be a split second where these other three motors try to compensate, and they'll basically go to full bananas real quick. And what that'll do is start it spinning, and it'll fall to the ground like spinning like crazy. It'll be very obvious. You'll just see in the FPV feed, or if you're line of sight, you can just watch the damn thing spin to the ground. If that's what's happening, you want to figure out which direction it's dropping in. Which, if you're, as long as you're running your DVR, you can watch it back and you can figure it out. Like, you'll literally see in the FPV feed that, like, oh, it's the right front that's dropping down. And if it does that twice, then you've isolated the problem to either the motor, the wiring, the ESC, or the signal wire coming up to the flight controller, right? So you've completely isolated it to that specific corner of the quad, and you can do stuff like taking that motor and swapping it with another motor and seeing if the problem goes with it, right? And then you've figured out that it's that motor. If it stays on the same side, now you've isolated it to either the wiring possibly, or the ESC, that channel, or the signal wire between the flight controller and the ESC. So yeah, good question. You got some work to do to start to kind of troubleshoot that out, but that should give you a good kind of head start on that. All right, we got a bunch of questions here. Let me hit a couple things real quick. Patreon, link down here. The Patreon page is set up to be sort of like a knowledge base of everything and anything that I can find in the industry that is valuable to us. And I work as hard as I can. I put in as much time as I have to get that done in a way that I can basically distill down as much as possible for you guys, so that you've got a spot to go to for tech that actually makes sense. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I love Mark Spatz's 20, 25, 30-minute long videos. They're amazing for me. But I've been into this hobby for 2.5 years, and I have a very engineering kind of brain. So for a lot of folks, those kind of videos are just completely out of the realm of possibilities for those guys to understand. So I work to try to kind of boil that stuff down. My favorite example is he put a video out a couple months ago about RPM filters, and his and the Betaflight devs' thoughts on which filters you should reduce first, second, third, fourth, fifth to get the most bang for your buck out of the RPM filters. That was contained within a 25-minute long video. I watched that video, kind of made some bullet points, and dropped it into a Patreon post for you guys that basically says, if you're going to run RPM filters, this is what you do first. This is what you do second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. And you just basically work yourself down that list till the point where your motors get hot. It's all kind of explained in there. Nice and simple. Do it. Less latency, better performance, better prop wash, better everything. So yeah, even stuff like deals that I find out there on the net. Hell of a deal, $15 low pro bag here, for example. Charlotte Rough Cut, we watched a little bit of at the opening of this video here. You know, when I'm halfway through an edit and I'm just going to go to sleep or whatever, I'll just tell Patreon to kick out a quick export of it, and I'll just throw it up into a specific Patreon-only playlist that I have on my YouTube channel. Give the link to these guys. They can go in and give opinions. You know, I like the song, I hate the song, good stuff, you suck. When are you going to give us more giveaways? Whatever, you know, whatever anybody wants to contribute, it's awesome. You also get to be a part of a really cool group of people. The patrons so far have just been amazing. There's really cool people that like supporting other people. That's something that means something, right? It's you're just if in your thought process is like, oh, I want to support this other human being instead of buying $5 more stuff this month. That's pretty awesome. You're a cool human being if that's what goes through your brain, and I love it, and I'm the same way. I follow like a dozen different people on Patreon just to kind of support them and see what they're up to, and it's a great website. I've kind of fallen in love with it, to be honest with you guys, and I think you should too. Destruction of quads that were given to me for reviews. What else? What should we call ourselves? Arm Wavers Incorporated is my favorite at the moment. More unreleased stuff. And one thing I did want to show you guys. So, for the patrons looking for some of the older tech articles that have gotten buried, you can just keep scrolling down and down and down and down. It'll keep reloading more and more and more. Or, and I think Patreon kind of realized this, they've made it a lot easier for you to organize yourself here and find some of those old stuff by using the tags. I've been going back, I haven't, like an idiot, of course, I haven't been using the tags. So I'm now going back little by little and adding tags to each post. The really valuable posts I've tried to hit already and add the tags. So you can come here and, I mean, not only can you filter by different things, tiers not going to do anything, all the tiers are the same. Filtering by month, if you look at like the oldest stuff, August of 2019, September of 2019, October of 2019, that's where a lot of the technical posts were. So you can just go back there, or you can click stuff like this here and it'll pull up all of the ones that are tagged with that word. So like motor, for example, if I click on that, Patreon will take forever, as it always does, but eventually, there it is. Here's a really good article checking for physical vibrations. Every single time you put a fresh set of motors on, you should do this. And then we've got Motor Theory 1-on-1, just kind of talking about the relationship of motor size to efficiency, to kV, to weight, to heat, to battery sag. And then this last one here, troubleshooting excessive motor heat. This is a big one. This is one of my favorite articles that I've kind of put together. It really just, any kind of PID tuning issues, to be honest with you guys, this is a really good starting place for you to kind of see where the vibrations are coming from, start to be able to handle them. This is a little bit older of an article, pre-RPM filters, but it is totally still valid. The RPM filters just make all of this stuff a lot easier, to be totally honest with you guys. So yeah, all these articles are still totally relevant, and I think they'll save you guys a lot of time, a lot of money, and they'll get you your quads flying better. So go for it. You can get in the door for $3 a month, which is 10 cents a day. So if you got 10 cents a day, you can join the team, get some good feedback, get some good troubleshooting nonsense, and message me whenever you want, and I'll always get back to you. So there you go. There's my pitch for Patreon. Support people, buy less stuff. I don't know what else to say. You guys know what's up. You guys are awesome. Cool. Let's hit some more questions. What do you say? Adam Boswick honestly loves it there. Where? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. It allows him to express what's on his mind without negative feedback. FPV therapy. Yeah, thanks. Adam is one of the more courageous folks, I believe, who has shared his story. Big ups to you, Adam. Very cool of you. Has it helped? I think it has. It did for me, at least. Supercell coming in with, my cushion just posted on Facebook saying he's been fighting depression for years and it's killing him. He doesn't look like a person that has those problems. Yeah, it's very true, Billy. Mental illness is, when you hear about so Robin Williams, right? Think about that. Robin Williams has had mental illness for his whole life. Think about that, right? The dude's a comedian. The deep, dark secret for you guys, and you can learn more about this from the podcast called The Hilarious World of Depression, is that pretty much all comedians have a real hard time with mental illness. But yeah, I mean, Robin Williams, right, had everything, had the dream life, so to speak, and took his own life because of mental illness, because it's that fucking hard. So yeah, just come over, let us help, talk to us, we'll talk to you, everything will be cool, we'll get through this shit together. I had a really awful week this week, primarily caused by my job. Work was just nuts, and that really is, it just always puts me in a horrible, horrible place, especially when I don't love my day job, which I don't at the moment, but yeah, I had a really shitty week, and I went over to FPV therapy a couple times and just read what everybody was talking about, and just being in it with other people was super helpful. So I hope you guys dig it, because I certainly have been. It's been super helpful for me. Big Willie FPV, telling people with bipolar or clinical depression to cheer up is like telling people who are in the wheelchair to walk it off. Big Willie, I could not have said it better myself. The way that I think about it, and the way that I explain it to people that say that to me, because that is pretty much always the first thing that anybody says that doesn't understand mental illness, depression, bipolar, anxiety, whatever it may be, is that, like, when they inevitably say that, because they all do, I, as kindly as I can, say to them, don't you think I would have done that already? Like, don't you think that I don't want to be miserable, right? And like, I honestly think that there's some weird misconception that people do for some reason think that you want to be miserable. And when you say that to them, you see this light bulb go off, and they're just like, "Oh, right. I mean, why would you want to be miserable all the time?" So yeah, it's a hard thing to say. I understand why people say it. They're trying to help, but there's been very little education on mental illness, depression, anxiety, bipolar. So it's not their fault, but it's our job to do the hard thing and say something to kind of help educate them. That's the only way we're going to get through this. So do it. Be strong. It's not just you. We'll do it together. Let's switch the scene. What else do we have here? We've got Sick Fast saying 3 people in his house and wife dealing with depression and addiction for years. Keeping busy helps us. Yeah, Sick Fast. Me too. Big time. The problem is my particular version of depression. Keeping busy is tough because keeping busy involves doing the things that I love, and my depression convinces me every single time that I hate these things, and it puts me like right at the essentially the depression brings me to the limit of breaking. And so when I try to do these things or force myself to fly, force myself to build, if anything goes wrong, like if I'm doing a solder joint and like it slips or something, it could be the most insignificant little thing, I just go completely off the deep end because I'm already like at the limit, right? Like I'm already at the edge of the cliff, like, oh my God, I'm just barely hanging on. And the 30 gauge wire that won't go through the through hole just shoves me right the hell over, and I throw things at the wall. So if that sounds like you, come on over because that's a form of depression. But yeah, it sucks. It's something that really sucks. It has like we need so much more research on it. We need just more everything, and this is what we have to do to get through it. So we'll just keep smashing through as long as we possibly can. Wake up every morning, do your absolute best, and that's it. Like, try again the next day. J English, brand new beta FPV Meteor 65 ESC 1 and 2 are not being recognized. It is as simple as is it as simple as a bad 4-in-1 board, or am I missing something? As it is one side of the quad. Thanks. Try JESC BL Heli Beta Flight. J English, technically speaking, I believe you could have bricked that all-in-one, the ESCs on the all-in-one. I didn't think that was possible, actually, to be honest, until a couple days ago when Kevin Stinger Swarm messaged me and said, like, hey man, I think I bricked a toothpick or a whoop that I was trying to put onto RPM filters, and I tried to help him, and he'd already tried everything that I was trying to help him with, and he basically was at a point where he was looking for an Arduino to, I guess you'd have to solder it up. Maybe you could just hook it in via USB and unbrick it. But yeah, like I said, I didn't know that was a possibility. I've had ESCs act very strange before, and I've had the like 2 channels not show up, but those have been BL Heli 32 ESCs, and I've just stubbornly kept like connecting and disconnecting and connecting and disconnecting in BL Heli. Make sure that the battery you have hooked up to the board to get power to the FETs is charged. If the battery is like very, very low, it'll act very strange. Like the FETs will be turning off and on. So I know it seems like an insanely simple thing, but you're not thinking about your battery being dead. You're thinking about everything other than that, right? Because the simple solution couldn't possibly be the problem. So yeah, check the simple stuff. Be stubborn with it, but technically speaking, you could have maybe bricked that board. If it came like that out of the box, I would for sure talk to wherever you bought it from and be like, "You're sending me a new one, mofos. Get on it." So there's some things you can try. If you're still having issues, message me somewhere. CiottiFPV on YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, Facebook. You guys can message me anywhere. I will do my best to get back to you. Fair warning, Patreon messages get my first attention because those are coming from the people that are supporting me and helping me to keep testing stuff and keep in the air. So There you guys go. If you want my undivided attention, you know how to do it now. You know how to get it now, I should say. Adam Bostwick loves it here. Oh, okay. Yeah, Adam, we talked about that. FPV therapy. Thumbs up. Thanks, Adam. Steve-O, apologize for being late. That's okay, Steve-O. You got potentially 5 hours and 20 more minutes of my stupid face with a new haircut. Proton to Go is building another identical brat. Ordered everything except the motors because the T-Motor 1507s are out of stock everywhere. Proton, put Emax 1606s on this one, and then you can see which ones you like better. Plus, then you can have a Basher with the Emaxes and a Cinebrat with the T-Motor 1507s. You could be like me, man. That's kind of sort of what I'm doing. FPV Hans has a Mobula 6 that lost all of his settings after a not too bad crash. Hans, I've heard of this lately. And with that specific rig, somehow, who makes that? Oh, God damn it. Whatever that company is that makes the Mobula has, it's kind of well known that they have quality control issues. And amazingly, their quality control problems have somehow allowed ones and zeros to escape from a physical chip inside of the board to wipe out your settings. I'm sure that's not actually what's happening because science and physics. I guess what's happening is one of the chips is lifting on a crash or something, and it's like, you know, when you're saving something to a hard drive or a thumb drive or whatever, and it says like don't cut the power, or like you'll brick me, basically. I guess that's what's happening, which I don't know. That seems so insane to me, but hey, it's not just you. It's happening to other people. I have not seen a fix. Nameless RC, that's it. I would message Nameless RC and be like, yo, mate, WTF? What are you doing to me? Weird issue. Yeah, no idea how that's happening. No idea how or why, but it ain't just you. So take solace in that, I guess. Proton to Go wants to be able to copy a diff from one to the other. Can I use other motors for that? Should I wait for the T-motors? Yeah, you absolutely can, Proton. I would be wary, though, and just understand that so what you're going to do is pull your whole diff over. That's fine, to the 1606s. You got to keep in mind, though, that they are not as smooth. So once you've pulled everything over, I would then go to your well, try it. Run it, be very arm it, disarm it really quick. Arm it for half a second, disarm it really quick, just to make sure it's not going to fly away on you, because it's going to have more vibes with the 1606s, guaranteed. And then if it's not flying away from you, try to give it a little flight. Be gentle, don't do anything crazy, and then just gradually go more crazy with it. You could be totally fine. I was actually able to do that. It was at the limit of the tune, though. Like, it was right about to be over the edge, flying away, going ballistic. So all I ended up doing was just backing the PIDs down a little bit. I just dropped like the P gains down by 5 or 10, D gains down by 5 or 10, and it was completely fine. You can also go into the filters and increase the amount of filtering, basically do the opposite of what I call out in the RPM filter. What's the name of the post on Patreon? RPM filter reduction strategy is the name of the post on Patreon. So you would do like the reverse of that, work from the bottom up essentially, and just add in a little bit more filtering, and you should be totally fine. Other than that, everything else is going to transfer. So you can do that one of two ways. I would actually do it with filtering. Leave the PID tune alone, go in and just add a little bit of filtering, and you should be completely fine. Right, what else do we have? Blizzard FPV wants us to imagine a world that spent as much on mental health as much as sports balls. Or war, right, Blizzard? Can you imagine that? Imagine our war budget going into, I don't know, things that help us here in this country, other than just having gasoline cheap. Athix comments on the haircut. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. Thinks John Dyson says, I think it less than 1 in 4 in my own opinion. Mental illness will more than likely affect all of us in some way. Yeah, that's for sure. That's a really good point, John. Even at 1 in 10, right? Even if it was 1 in 10 people, do you know more than 10 people? Are there more than 10 people in your life? And do you want to be that person that says to that one person by accident, oh, just cheer up, and makes them feel horrible because they've been trying to just cheer up their whole life? Food for thought. Focus for life. Can the Meteor 65 cam be upgraded to, say, the Tiny Whoop cam? Should be able to. Most of the, well, let me think. Meteor 65, I believe, yeah, let me just say this. Every single Tiny Whoop has power pads coming from the battery, right? And that is all that most of these cameras, including the Tiny Whoop camera, need to power up and to work. And then there's a video out, and there's always a video pad somewhere on the board that you can push video into. The new Tiny Whoop cam also has smart audio, and there might not be a pad on the AIO for smart audio. There might not be a free UART to do that. Not the end of the world. Their new camera still has the button on it, so you can still use the button. That being said, most AIOs will also have a free UART that you can run the smart audio from. So I would be very shocked if the Meteor 65 couldn't do all the functionality, smart audio, and have easy to access power pads to run that new Tiny Whoop camera. If you want to confirm that, just look on the board. Look to make sure you've got 2 pads that you can solder power to coming directly from the battery, and then look around to see if there's a free UART, like UART 2, UART 3, UART 4, and then you'll be golden. Supercell, the 4 inner screws get you to the stack. Okay, cool. So we'll do that today then. We'll on this stream here today, we'll pull those 4 screws because I want to see what it looks like inside of that. That's pretty cool. Have to loosen the 4 outer screws. That makes sense because then those little pieces of carbon will rotate out. Cool. Drone 3 droid, perfect for someone without a quad. What's that? What's perfect? This one? Maybe? Solid or box section arms, John Dyson says. Kind of a combination. It's kind of a, yeah, because box section means they connect. Well, it's interesting. Actually, it has box section in the rear and A-arms in the front. Yeah, box section quads, to my understanding, just basically connect all 4 of the motors to form a box. This does that in the back. It doesn't do it at all on the sides, which is totally fine. And in the front, it connects to the base plate rather than just connecting arm to arm, which I kind of like that. That keeps the, when you box the front, you get that piece of carbon in the view of the FPV cam in theory, maybe even of the HD cam as well. So yeah, it's got a little bit of both. Tiago says it's a new product called Tiny's LEDs Unified Mini F7. Wow, I was just on Tiny's LEDs website because I want to message him to see if he wants to work together on some giveaways. Where's his website at? Let's take a look, because that's an interesting, the whole, so my philosophy on putting the VTX and the receiver on the flight controller is very strange in that I like it because it adds weight and it adds mass to the flight controller itself, and by adding mass, that's going to make its soft mounting work better. All right, so think about, go to total extremes, right? You've got a quad, the frame of the quad is always going to be vibrating. Even on a perfectly new set of motors, there's always going to be something that's a little bit out of whack, and there's always going to be vibrations. Then you have rubber soft mounts and a flight controller board with a gyro on it. Imagine that board weighs 0.1 of a gram. This frame is vibrating around, and at 0.1 of a gram, it's going to kind of come with it, right? Because it doesn't have a lot of mass to compress those rubber soft mounts. Now go to the extremes. This flight controller magically now weighs what a bowling ball weighs, right? You can't tell me that this vibration in this frame under here is going to have shit all worth of an effect on this flight controller that's isolated with rubber gummies that weighs as much as a bowling ball. It's just going to keep charging forward in space while the frame wobbles all around and compresses the hell out of those rubber grommets underneath of it, right? So and this is called mass damping. The Williams Ferrari, Williams F1 team back in the 70s or the 80s did this in an F1 car, and it was outlawed immediately, even though they were adding a ton of weight to the car, which in theory would be the worst thing possible. The mass damper in the nose of the car was so effective that it gave them an unbelievably unfair advantage, and the FIA outlawed it. Just to give you guys some idea of how good mass damping works. Mass damping is also what the Acrobrat is built upon, and it is the reason that the clean dirty system actually works on the Acrobrat. And it's also the reason why anybody else that says they have a clean dirty system at the moment, from what I've seen, it's not a clean dirty system. It's a soft mounted camera, and a soft mounted camera doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. The entire top section on this Acrobrat is the soft mount, and it also houses the battery. So Tommy added the battery as a mass damper to the clean section, so that this clean section just wants to keep cruising along perfectly stable while the bottom and the bottom part, the bottom plate in the frame wobbles around all over the place. And it works really well. And it's kind of it's one of the best things you can do to a clean dirty system to actually make it work. So that is how that works. Euro says you can find a way to break it. Damn right. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I know that you're right. All right, so let me hit Tiny's website. I see a super chat. Thank you for that, Fail at FPV. I'm going to read it in 1 second, but I do want to hit his website here. Okay, all products. All right, would you say it was called, Tiago? Where is your comment? I lost it. Where did it go? Well, maybe I can just find it. Electronics. Oh, here, let me switch the scene over. There you guys go. Electronics, and then there's the Synergy. Let's see if there's an F7. Could this be it? Where the hell did Tiago's comment go? Come on, YouTube. Get your shit together with the chat here. There it is. New product called Tiny's LEDs Unity Mini F7. Unity Mini F7. There it is. Oh, I see what they did. So they just used through holes in the correct order. That's clever. So that's funny. This is also what this is actually what I did on my circa 2017 toothpick, which had a Femto F3 flight controller in it. And this is how I mounted this is kind of where I developed this thought process. This is how I mounted at the time, it was the XM Plus. And then eventually, when the RXSR came out, I swapped it over to an RXSR. And I did this same thing. On the Femto, the through holes were in the correct order so that you could do this. So that you could pin your receiver directly to it. And now it looks like Tiny's LEDs has taken that a step further, and you can probably put the VTX on one side and the receiver on the other side, which we're going to look at here. Yep, so there's the Crossfire Nano on one side. You can tell it's this side by the plug header, and then here's the other side, no plug header, and this is the probably a Pro 32, TBS Nano Pro 32 VTX. So yeah, this is really cool. The thing you got to be careful of is you got to get good strain relief on both antennas, right? Because you don't want this thing moving around, wobbling these antennas to death. You also don't want the antennas pushing on the flight controller, giving it false readings, essentially. So you've got this gyro sitting on your flight controller, and ideally you want zero outside influence on this thing. You want this thing to float perfectly even, dead center, with nothing pushing on it, nothing leaning on it, nothing tapping against it. That's how you get the cleanest gyro signal. If you have a wire that's like pre-tensioning this board to the side, right, and it's like pushing on the board is not going to want to push back. It's going to want to rotate in all other directions other than this direction that's preloading the board itself. So I would want to be a little bit careful about that. Shouldn't be a big deal though. I mean, if that was a big problem, they would notice it in testing because it would just fly like a box of shit. But something to think about. Don't have like those wires stretched tight back to a zip tie on the back of the frame. That's not going to work. You got to put a little bit of slack in that wire, and just it's an easy thing to test. You just sit there and just poke at the flight controller once it's all put together, and you just make sure that when you give it like a little bit of pressure in one direction, it moves. A little bit of pressure in the other direction, it moves. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pressure, a little bit. Just check it on all axes to make sure it's still loose and moving around, and then you've got then your soft mounting is sound. Yeah. Other than that, this is really cool because this will make a hell of a clean build, which is really important with micros because they're just jam-packed with stuff. The power to weight problem with micros forces frame designers to really shrink everything down as small as possible, and it's very easy to kind of run out of space. So this would definitely help that. You'd drop your ESC down there, and then you would just give your flight controller a little bit of extra spacing, and then you could just put everything on it. And you could probably fit that stack under... You might be able to fit it under 23 millimeter standoffs, which you can get from Pyrodrone. You could definitely fit it under 25 millimeter standoffs, which you can get anywhere. And that's pretty good. That's a pretty good standoff height. What this wouldn't work for is if you wanted to put an HD camera like the Runcam Split or the Foxier Mix or the Caddx Turtle or the Tarsier or the Hybrid, unless you had a second stack location, unless there's a second set of 20x20s on that frame, of which most of the lighter weight frames do not have. So that is all I have to say about that. Cool product. Love it. Not going to work in all situations. What else do we have? We've got Euro saying that I can find a way to break it, which is correct. We had ESK Race saying they should make that Mad S frame from Mad Quads in a 3-inch version. It looks indestructible. I'm down for an indestructible frame, although most indestructible frames show either a bunch of prop or sometimes even motor in view, which for me is kind of a deal breaker. The footage coming out of my rigs is important to me. In the long term, I want to get involved with the film industry with these rigs. That is my background. That's what I went to college for in the late 90s. And yeah, I just, the flying is the most fun part of this hobby to me. So being able to get paid to go fly, that'd be pretty fucking cool. All right. What is the most important, Spudnik asks, what is the most important thing for pilots to practice to reach the next level? Time. Absolutely no questions asked. Stick time to kind of expound on that. But realistically, it's just straight up time. Stick time is probably 90% of it, but the other 10% is important as well. I talk a lot about my pilot spotlight, and the point behind it being I want to share really gnarly pilots with you guys, because for me, watching pilots that are better than myself has been a way for me to grow, learn new things, steal new things, right? Be creative. It really has been something that has just kind of increased my bag of tricks that I have when I'm out flying. And there are times where I'm out flying and it's like, all right, I feel like I've done everything. Like what's something new that I can do? If you ever have that feeling, you need to start watching more people. Like you should try to not have that feeling of like, oh, I'm kind of getting bored with this, or like all I ever do is split S's and power loops. There's a whole big world of people out there doing wacky shit. You got to go out and find them, and you got to watch some of their videos to absorb that and figure out what they're up to. The technical side has a little bit to do with it, being able to learn how to tune. There's a bunch of other little things that are within that other, like, sort of 10%. But yeah, it's time. Just pour time into it. That's what I've had to do. Stick time, you can really accelerate through simulators. Velocidrone, Liftoff. Those are the two that were huge. I think there's one more nowadays that's gotten pretty good. Maybe it's the DRL one. But yeah, that's what's worked for me. So maybe it'll work for you guys as well. Airbender saying, could that be in a desync? Explain. I can't figure out what that's in reference to. All right, we talked about the Mad Ass, Spudnik. We've got Euro. We've got Tiago. All right, cool. Let's scroll down. We get some more Q&As going. Supercell. Wanted someone that needs it to get it, but don't want to be picky, so I gave it to Ciotti for him to bear the burden so I don't feel bad. Yeah, I think I want to do a, I don't know. I think I want to do a different, I'll figure something out. We'll do something cool with the giveaway for this one. Blitz FPV, what are your thoughts on 2207 versus 2306 eco motors for a lightweight 4S racing rig, 300 to 400 all up? What would be the most efficient in this scenario with a 5047C Cyclone? Most efficient is going to be the 2306, period. It's got more mechanical torque because the stator is wider, and it's got less stator height, so when you go full throttle, it's not going to eat as much juice. So those will for sure be the most efficient. That being said, I don't know any racers that are not running 2207s. In fairness, I don't follow racing, but of the racers that I know of, Vanover, Evan Turner, I don't know many, but I know a few. They're all on 2207s. Hell, some of them are on 2208s. So it feels like the 2207 is what you want, and that kind of tracks with my opinion of freestyle versus racing, in that with freestyle motors, you want a wider, shorter motor for that increase in mechanical torque, because that allows the PID loop rather to run a little bit better. It gives it more instantaneous control over the prop to speed it up and spin it down. Whereas the 2207s have more resolution up at the top of the throttle, which is where you're spending most of your time as a racer. So I would think that even though they're less efficient, that you would want to go with a 2207 for that, just for the more. So basically what a lot of people say about the 2306 is when you get to the top of the throttle, there's just not much resolution because it's kind of like reached its limit. It can't spin the prop any harder, versus a 2207 where it just keeps accelerating at the top of the throttle because it has more stator volume. It has the ability to turn more of the battery into thrust. And yeah, that's kind of the common thought process there. All that being said, which motors you go with is a very personal choice. If you have the ability, fly them both, maybe buy them both. If you can buy them used, you can probably sell them for what you bought for them and just have to cover shipping. So that would be a way for you to personally, fuck you, son, get out of here. For you to see which vibes with your flying style better. Droney George 3 Droid, I'm still waiting for an explanation of that name. What sort of day job are you hating? I am a project manager for a healthcare company. I love being a project manager. I hate working for in the benefits industry, and that is the main problem. But I work from home, and that allows me to do stuff like working on quads while I'm on conference calls and shit like that. So I just have to suck it up for the time being, because it's a great gig. The money is not great, but the money's okay, and working from home is great, especially because my car is still obliterated. Someday I'll have my own car again. I haven't had a car in like 3+ years now, but it'll get fixed again at some point here. Blitz FPV says, mention FPV therapy when writing to the FAA. For sure I will, and asking for the repeal. Think it would be a great way to raise awareness around the hobby's benefits and why it should not be restricted. Blitz, I was recently talking to, and I forgot to give these guys a shout out last week. That is my bad. I need to find who it was that I was talking to. Let me go into my Facebook messages and do a quick search. Let's search Messenger for PTSD. I was talking to somebody who has started working with a group that is working with folks that suffer from PTSD, typically ex-military, and was it David Barfield? I think it might have been. Yes. Okay, so it's David Barfield. He's working on a group, I guess I can call it safely, called Drones for Veterans. And they're out of Columbus, Georgia. David is also who sent me this awesome shirt, which I forgot to mention. Look at this. Showed up in the mail the other day. It's actually a really nice shirt too. Really, it's one of these next, what's it called? Next gen or something? Next something rather. I don't know. I can't see it. I'm not flexible anymore. I'm too old. But yeah, thanks, David, if you're hanging for the shirt. Very, very cool of you. And yeah, it's called Drones for Veterans. I'm gonna dump the address up here because they're looking for parts and pieces. If you guys have spare parts, my God, my nose is itching today. If you guys have spare parts, you can send them over to David Barfield, and he will give them a good home, basically. They're 50% military pilots. Yeah, let me just read, because he wrote me such a perfect explanation of this. And he is also reaching out to the FAA to hopefully... I'm really hopeful for him, because this, I mean, on one hand, the government doesn't give a shit about its veterans. A lot of people say. I wouldn't know. I've never done the research, but a lot of folks who are in that situation I've heard talking about how shitty they feel. But that's another conversation entirely. Club is collecting used parts for a free build day for disabled and PTSD veterans. So he put, I think he won something he won motors from me, and he put them directly into the parts bin for this. And I was like, man, that's super awesome of you. Hoping to host it on Memorial Day, and as well as a flying event for them. Currently collecting any working parts. They're right next door to Fort Benning, and they have a big group of these veterans. Goal is for 8 to 12 vets to be able to complete a full FPV build, whether it's a tiny whoop toothpick, 2-inch to 7-inch. You just want to introduce them to the hobby. I have talked to plenty of ex-military in this hobby that are just like, yeah, it was an absolute game changer. Kept me from self-harm, stupid stuff. So yeah, the adrenaline dump that we get in this hobby in a safe way is perfect for folks that are suffering from, hey, I was enlisted and had 10 gallons of adrenaline pouring through my body every single day for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then I came back to society and I have, 1 drip of adrenaline per day, and my brain can't handle that adjustment. So, what else did he say here? 50% military pilots, talked about that. All have stories on how the FPV hobby has given them an outlet for depression, PTSD, drug abuse, or self-harm, suicidal ideations, violent thoughts, so on and so forth. He said he also has a connection to a 2 or 3 star general, which is pretty insane. But would like to write a letter to the FAA with their concerns about the new regulations damaging the FPV hobby. Partnership with the Fort Benning Robotics Research Division has proven how important the hobbyists are to the DoD sector. So, like, David is no joke. He is tied in. He's saying all the right things. Sounds like he's working on all the right things. I absolutely love that. If you guys have parts and pieces that you don't want anymore, shoot them over. If you have ones that you do want and you just want to support them, that's cool too. So yeah, huge shout out to David Barfield, Drones for Veterans. They're in Columbus, Georgia. And here comes the address again in the chat. Send him some stuff if you'd like. And let's get it done, man. People helping people. Load more. What's that? Oh, okay. All right, good. Oh, yeah, and he is with, you probably saw it in the back of the shirt, but he's with the Columbus Multi-Rotor Club. I'll drop their name into the chat as well. This shirt was a total surprise. he must have gotten my address from the return address on the envelope, which is super cool. And yeah, he just surprised me with this. I was like, damn, that's very, very, very cool. Much, much appreciated. All right, so we got that going on. I am going to pause on the chat for a second. Let's hammer away at some of these things that I do every week, starting with the product spotlight. And I'm going to do the product spotlight with CiottiFPV again, because Tweet and I have been talking about doing, and let me pull up the other screen here and show you guys. So I ordered a set of CiottiFPV's skateboard grip transmitter sticky hand things. Got to come up with I got to figure out a good name for. He probably has a good name for them. I just have to read it off of his Etsy page. But yeah, Tweet does an awesome job on these grips, and he sent. I ordered a set off of his Etsy store. He mailed them. It appears that USPS has lost them, which is super annoying. But the bright side is that I try to do the whole purple and red thing as much as I can to be on brand. So I realized that I could get some pretty cool purple grip tape, and he's willing to do like any color, any grip tape or whatever. So I said, all right, cool, let's do this. I'm going to order some cool purple grip tape off Amazon, and I'll mail it to you. Would you mind cutting me a set? He said, I'll do you one better. I'll just order them in, and I'll just cut you a set and just send them to you. And I was like, all right, well, that's unbelievably generous, and everything generous but deserves some love. So I said, how about this? Let's do a limited run of purple grip tapes, because the grip tape comes in like sizes for skateboards or scooters or longboards. So obviously you can get multiples on each one of those sheets. So I said, let's do this. I need giveaways. So every week, how about if I put an order in for you? Your grips are one of the giveaways, and then when that giveaway is done, I ask the person what transmitter they have. I send you an order. Tell me whatever the price is going to be: $7, $10, $15, $5, whatever. And that way, you've got weekly orders, and then we'll also just like sell these. If somebody just wants to buy a set of limited run CiottiFPV purple grippy jobbers transmitter grips, that's probably the right name, then they can order them. I believe Patreon allows like a one-time purchase. So I believe what I can do is just make this one-time purchase in Patreon. You guys can click it. It'll be $10 or $8 or $7. I don't know if we've settled on a dollar amount yet. And you can get like one of, I think he said he can usually squeeze on a sheet like between like 12-ish maybe. So it'll literally be one of 12, because I found a bunch of different purple grip tape that are really cool looking. The one thing that he did say is that he uses diamond grip tape because it's got the best adhesive. One of the ones I found is diamond, the other ones are not, but they're really cool looking. Like I even found purple grip tape that's color changing. It shifts to blue. So if you get one of the non-diamond ones, and I'll of course tell you this if you win, or if you buy them, you got to make sure that you clean your radio with alcohol. He's going to be including alcohol wipes. And then you also want to do something with heat. Get a hair dryer, get a heat gun, get a little kitchen torch, and just get the grip tape warm, because that really helps the adhesive soften up and then really kind of get into all the little bits of the plastic, so it can really adhere well to your transmitter. We're putting our transmitters in and out of our bags and all this and whatnot. So yeah, with the non-diamond grip ones, they're not like, it's me telling them like, hey, please cut them out of this material that you've already tested and it sucks. But he said that he thinks as long as we clean it and get some heat on it, that we should be fine. I will guinea pig it, because the one grip tape that I really want is not made by Diamond. Let me show you guys what I'm kind of thinking. These are the colors to give you guys some idea of what it's probably going to be. Pull this out real quick, and that's what she said. And let's go here. All right, cool. So, well, where is the... I thought I had the color changing one. The color changing one is super cool. Oh, there it is. Yeah, candy grip. So it shifts from blue to purple. So yeah, that's cool. And then where the hell did the rest of them go? Here they are. So I'm thinking a little bit of, oh, that's not the one. Where's the right one? Yeah, farts. Did it disappear? Well, I guess we're not doing that one. So there's the Black Widow one in the nice purple. So we'll definitely do that one. Oh, wait, no, that's Black Widow, not Black Diamond. There's this one that's cool and glittery. It'll be fun. So we'll do like a limited run of that, I guess. And then there's this Grizzly one. I found out about this one from Jamie Ann's electric longboard, actually. She's got this on there, and it's just like so cool looking. It's real sparkly and like, I don't know, it just looks awesome. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that something cool? I feel like not many people have the grip tape on their transmitters, and I've heard from like Tommy and a couple other guys that it's really useful. And I actually do have a problem every so often where my transmitter will kind of like shift around in my hands a little bit, and I'll be like barely holding on to the transmitter, like still trying to fly. So I'm pretty sure that this will fix that. And that's all I really have to say about that. So yeah, that's the product spotlight. CiottiFPV. If you just want to get them in black or whatever, hit them up on Instagram or YouTube or probably Facebook. CiottiFPV. TWEETFPV. Also hit his YouTube channel because he does cool edits and product reviews and all kinds of fun stuff. And he actually did a spoof on the Discovery show How It's Made with the grip transmitter grip order that he got from me, oddly enough. And he did this super cool edit of like showing his whole process of like getting the order in, cutting it, shipping it out, packaging it, all this good stuff. Super cool little edit that he did that I'm sure took a ton of time, but it came out awesome. So yeah, show CiottiFPV some love, or just wait a week or two for us to get these purple ones spun up, and you can have a limited purple whatever. You guys know what's up. Right. Pilot spotlight. It's got to be Window Washer, man. Window Washer is a dude. So I'm trying for the EU stream. I'm trying to now give you guys US based pilots, and then on Monday nights I'm trying to give the US audience European based pilots. I've kind of burned down all of the European pilots already that Finke had called out in one of his really cool pilot spotlight videos. But Window Washer is a beast. I absolutely love flying vertical faces, i.e. buildings. They have this really cool like other dimension to them when you get real close to them, where it becomes your ground and you're now in zero gravity because your ground is just falling down, and it's just fascinating to me. And like it just, you can get really weird and just do all kinds of crazy wacky stuff. And Window Washer is who you want to watch to really understand how much is possible. He is the best pilot that I've ever seen when it comes to riding the side of buildings, thus the name Window Washer. I don't know if he that was the name first and then he started flying like that, or I don't know. I don't know what the order was, but my God, is it such a perfect name for him. So let's hit, man, he has a video from not too long ago that was just mind-bending. This one's got 1,200 views. Let's go with this one. I have to go get a drink of water. That's what I always do during Pilot Spotlight, so you guys can enjoy an amazing pilot. And yeah, so let me throw this on. I think this is a good one. It's his new favorite spot, FPV Freestyle, 1,200 views. Got to be a good one. Window Washer FPV. Hold on, let me give you guys his link first because I will totally forget. There's also a chance that he's been my Pilot Spotlight before. I'm not really sure, but he's just that good where he deserves to be it twice, if that's the case. Here you guys go with some window washing. Gotta go over here. I'm gonna kill my mic.
On the track.
Iceberg want a bag, bitch.
We pop out at your party, I'm with the gang, and it's gonna be a robbery, so tuck your chain. I'm a killer, girl, I'm sorry, but I can't change. We ain't aiming for your body, shots hit your brain. We come from poverty, man, we ain't have a thing. It's a lot of animosity, but they won't say my name. Them killers rock with me, little nigga, don't get banged. Cause they'll do that job for me while I hop on the plane. She don't like her body, left the doctor with a new shape. Blowing up my phone cause she just see me with my new babe. Heartbreaker ladies love me like I'm Cool J. She was trying to cling on to a nigga, but it's too late. Booked the flight to Cali, rocks and condoms in my suitcase. And every single dollar in these bands got a blue face. Diamonds in the rollie, they in HD like it's Blu-ray. The way that I've been ballin' should make the cover of 2K. Show out for the summer, I might pull up in a new rave. Dissing on the gang, that's gon' only get your crew chase. And we haul shit down, better tighten up your shoelace. Look, bro, get up close and let the Glock 22 spray. We pop out at your party, I'm with the gang, and it's gon' be a robbery. So tuck your chain, I'm a killer, girl, I'm sorry, but I can't change. We ain't aiming for your body, shots hit your brain. We come from poverty, man, we ain't have a thing. It's a lot of animosity, but they won't say my name. Them killers rock with me, little nigga, don't get banged. Cause they'll do that job for me while I hop on the plane.
Yeah, I call a bro, he said he ready for the stain. What you claim, you a lame, you ain't never put in pain. Why I be around some killers that go crazy for the game? If I showed you all my charges, you won't look at me the same. Made some choices in my life I wish I never had to make. Lost my brother, seen him die, and I just seen him graduate. Got that 40 on my side, and I'm just rolling past the jakes. But my hands could do the job, and I ain't talking masturbate. I was in and out of states, cause I had a bag to make. I risked my life, but it's alright, cause God ain't let me pass away. Fuck tomorrow, spin the block, just know we coming back today. I call Polo, he come Dolo, we get him the fast.
We pop out at your party, I'm with the gang, and it's gon' be a robbery. So tuck your chain, I'm a killer, girl, I'm sorry, but I can't change. We ain't aiming for your body, shots hit your brain. We come from poverty, man, we ain't have a thing. It's a lot of animosity, but they won't say my name. Them killers rock with me, little nigga, don't get banged. Cause they'll do that job for me while I hop on the plane.
Alright, I'm going to let you guys watch the rest. I'm sure the quality sucks on here. Hit his channel. Watch a couple of his videos. Dude is a beast. Go back a little bit, too. He's got... This is gnarly, but he's got some stuff from, like, 2-3 months ago that's just nutty as well. So, go spelunking on his channel a little bit. You'll find some really sick stuff. Alright. Last blank of the week and or spotlight, or whatever this is, that I do is going to be myfpv.io. I think I gave them a shout out last week, but I don't remember which stream it was, so I'm going to give them another shout out. myfpv.io is a brand new site for cataloging your stuff, selling your stuff. I think it's an awesome idea. The dude that runs the site is super cool, and I think he's got something going here. So check them out if you want to organize, sell your inventory. The site is set up really cool. It's picture-based, which is always nice. And yeah, you might be able to sell your stuff a little bit easier than Facebook Marketplace and dealing with all the nonsense that comes with that. So there's our 3 shout-outs for the week. We talked about Patreon. We talked about the giveaways, supporting gambling addiction since 2019. Those are Monday nights. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's get back to the chat. We will blast through a bunch of these chats, and then I think we'll just start fixing stuff. Did I have something else that we were going to do, though? Let me see. Check my list. Where we at? I got a list somewhere. Where's the list? There it is. 6-hour marathon stream. We talked about that. Charlotte Rough Cut. You guys already got that. All right, cool. I'm going to sneeze. All right, thank God. Okay, back to the chat. More Q&A. Jay Drones asks, if you tried the 48K ESC flash. I tried to put it on the newbie drone whoops the day before, because I'm dumb, the tiny whoop race, and it just wouldn't work. It kept overheating the all-in-one, which would then in turn overheat the VTX, and then I would lose video. Unfortunately, this is a problem that I had because I have the prototype newbie drone brushless whoop. The production ones don't have this problem. I've talked to a ton of people who've done it. A lot of the guys at the race had done it, and it's just free flight time. It doesn't seem like there's all that much of a performance advantage, but free flight time is a good thing. and the difference is real. I mean, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. So yeah, do it. If you don't have a newbie drone prototype all-in-one board, do it for sure. If you do, definitely don't do it because it won't work. Euro says sometimes with his 65mm Whirlpool disarm, and when he arms back up, one of the motors doesn't spin up, and he tries to take off, and it gives you flyaway and shuts off. That is exactly what my newbie drone prototype was doing. The problem was the connection between the pin header on the board and the board itself. When you would land, when you would crash, it would just break that little connection, and that motor would just sit there and twitch or wouldn't spin up at all. What I thought the solution would be was to break all of those, desolder and break all of those connectors off, and then direct solder the motors to the board. Unfortunately, the prototype board was not set up for that, so the pads were microscopic, and it just... I thought it was working, but then when I got to the race, the one of them kept losing power and just falling out of the sky, and the other one kept overheating. So I'm sure that I just screwed it up because like it was small enough where I literally had to use magnifying glasses on my head to be able to I have really good vision. I had like 20/40 or whatever, like better than 20/20 vision is forever, and like my vision is getting a little bit worse as I come towards 40, but my vision is still very good, and I've never had to solder with constant magnification, and I did for this. And like, so I'm sure that I just got the boards too hot or something like that. But yeah, that could be your problem, Euro, or maybe it isn't. Message me on Patreon and we'll troubleshoot. Doc Murdoch is here. Doc is in the house. Off-axis FPV, it's on Betaflight voltage in for the Mobula 6. I had that issue first day and got it fixed. There you go. Whoever was having the... it is on Betaflight voltage in. Whoever was having the Mobula problem, maybe that'll help you. Maybe that'll fix it. Short circuit, is the QC going downhill on FPV due to competition? I don't think any more so than it ever has. With micros, I've actually felt that QC has gotten a lot better. That being said, there's always been the companies whose quality control blew. Way back when it was, my first introduction to it was HGLRC with just horrendously bad quality control, which apparently they've gotten a little bit better, but I don't know. I swore them off and I'm just not looking back. There are just going to be companies who sell stuff really cheap, and you get what you pay for. When the price gets down so low, where like the Mobula 6 is $80 and the competition is like $140, $130, $150, something's got to give, right? No free lunch. So there's always going to be a company who sacrifices quality control, sacrifices the quality of the components to make something that's less expensive. So just never ever ever think that you're gonna beat the system, right? And I was as guilty of it as anybody. Like when I was brand new in this hobby, I had this ongoing thing for like 6 months where it's like, no, I can find the super secret flight controller that's only $19 that's perfect, and I'll be the smartest person ever, and I'll change the world. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of blown up cheap components later, I started buying better, more expensive, and thus better quality components. That's not to say that there can't be an expensive component that sucks because the company is pouring their money into marketing or just charging more, or it just looks nicer and they're kind of banking off of that. But luckily nowadays with the internet, we get to the bottom of that pretty quick and trash on that company usually. So yeah, you get what you pay for. It's always been like that for me. The Mobula 6 seems awesome, but I've heard a lot of quality control problems, which is scary. But it's part of the game. Fail at FPV. I finally got to your super chat. Thank you, brother. $1.99. Wanted to jump in and say thanks for the haircut. If there's another $38 in super chats, I'll be able to get another haircut in 2 months. So between now and then, I expect at least $38 more. to support my hideously expensive haircut. Focus for Life, you're absolutely welcome for the answer. Killer BRC, how would you suggest I lubricate my 1105 motor on my quad? I crashed into some loose dirt last night, and they're binding up after cleaning. So my question is, Killer B, are the bearings binding up, or is the motor binding up? You said 1105, so an 1105 is going to be C-clipped. The bell is going to be C-clipped to the stator. So the stator's down here, the bell, the motor shaft and the bell slides into the stator, and that's where the bearings are. The bearings are sealed. They have metal shields on the top and the bottom of the bearings. The metal shields are not infallible. Like the longboard, the downhill longboard bearings I used to run had rubber seals, and the rubber seals would get a little bit closer to the inner and the outer race of the bearing, so they would do a little bit better of a job of sealing than what we've got, which are metal seals. But you probably don't have junk in the bearings. The bearings are probably fine because those metal seals that we've got are pretty damn good. The dirt is probably in between the stator and the magnets of the bell. And if you were there for the end of Joshua's stream, he mentioned how what he usually does is just grab the bell of the motor and like wiggle it back and forth. And what you're going to do is you're going to start to work the dirt out. Now, don't do it like this because all the dirt will pour into your stack. Do it either like this so it pours out the top, or do it like this so it pours out the bottom, right? But you can just sit there and just wiggle, 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 and that'll usually loosen up the dirt and allow it to fall out. And then you'll typically get it to a point where it can spin almost perfect. And then when you fire it up on the quad, it just it's at 7 million RPM and it flings all the rest of the dirt out everywhere. The way that I do it is that I take the bell off of the stator and I clean them with a toothbrush because I'm a lunatic. And on a full-size motor, that's very easy because they have a screw in the bottom of the bell to hold it in. So you back the screw out and you pop the bell right off, toothbrush the stator, put it back together, screw the bell screw back in. On an 1105, or pretty much any micro motor for that matter, the bell is held on by a tiny little C-clip. And that tiny little C-clip loves to shoot across the room and disappear forever. And when that happens, you can't just buy a replacement because these things use like very specific C-clips that are very specifically sized, and it's just a total pain in the ass. Maybe you can find a replacement, but it's probably going to be a pain in the ass. The way to get around that is to take a plastic sandwich bag and like you put the plastic sandwich bag around the arm, and then you put your tool all up in there and then you pop it off, so when it goes shooting off, it just bounces around inside the plastic sandwich bag. So it's still totally doable. It's a complete pain in the ass. You might also break the C-clip. You might not be able to get the C-clip back on. So I would just sit here and sort of gently, sort of with some force, just wiggle it around, see if you can get the majority of the dirt out, and then just fire it up. Maybe the safest thing to do would be to fire it up in turtle mode, because then you could spin just that one motor up. Just be careful. A motor that's locked up that you put a bunch of power to is the worst thing possible. And is a really good way to blow up a ESC. So that would be my recommendation, but technically speaking, you could pull the C-clip, clean it by hand, and if you did at that point want to re-oil the bearings, I would use skateboard oil because it's nice and thin, very viscous, and skateboards use bearings that are under, skateboard bearings don't spin anywhere near the RPM that we spin, but they deal with more load in the downward direction, right? The bearing is like this, and then we've got, 200 pounds of human pushing down on them. So they deal with more force in the downward direction, whereas our force is just tons of RPM and heat. But yeah, you could probably get away with any kind of lube now that I really think about it. But like I said, I don't think that's your problem. I think your bearings are good to go. Our bearings are sealed, is what they're called. And dust is really the only thing that's going to get in there past that tiny little gap in the metal cover. Killer BRC's question I just answered. Oh, and you've got new ones coming, so that's cool. So take yours off, and they're your backups. Well, then that gives you an excuse to pull yours apart, I guess, because you got the new ones coming. And then what's nice too is if you pull it, if you have your old motors and you pull them apart, leave them apart, right? And then you've got a spare bell and a spare stator. If one of your motors, if you bang up a bell on one of your motors, you can just pull the C-clip, swap the new bell on, and pop the C-clip back on there. But like I said, do it in a bag because you will lose that. That C-clip will shoot off when you're taking it out and when you're putting it back on. So be careful. Off-axis FPV says, did you just say axis? I probably did. Chris Hugman says, Tiny's LEDs also do a sled to hold the transmitter and the VTX on a whoop. They do. They have a couple different sleds. If you guys don't know Tiny LEDs, get over there. He's got a ton of really cool stuff, much more than just LEDs now. A lot of really good mounting solutions for receiver and VTX for 20x20, 30x30, the whoop size, a lot of really good stuff. Jim Golden, thoughts on the DJI Brat Duo FPV crate just listed? I did not know that was just listed. FPV crate. And let's go over. Oops, sorry guys, I clicked the PP pay-per-click ad. I just cost FPV crate some money by clicking on their pay-per-click ad. So where is it, is the question. Let's see. Just announced. So that would be maybe February? Let's give that a shot. They don't have pictures of it up yet. Jim, do me a favor. Hook me up with a... hit me with a link on Facebook, because then I'll see it pop up. And we'll take a look, because I actually want to look at that. Short Circuit says, what's your recommended VTX for an Arrow 3-inch? He bought a binding fly, and the video is terrible. Have two capacitors. It's got two capacitors, and found the XM Plus was out of the shrink wrap, but still has bad video. Short Circuit, down there is some affiliate links to VTXs. Those are my favorites. If it's a 3-inch rig, you probably want to go with the Eachine Nano, or if you're a baller, the TBS Pro 32 Nano. The TBS Pro 32 is the original. The Eachine is the copy. Eachine's VTXs are hysterically good. It doesn't make any sense why they're so good. And they're like a third of the price. So that's my recommendation there. Flight Test is a channel for great fun stuff. Absolutely off axis. They just did like the world's biggest paper airplane that was awesome. If you guys aren't subbed to Flight Test, get your ass over there. Jim Golden sent me a link. Thank you, sir. Let's take a look. My hunch is that it's very similar to the... Where did it go? Very similar to the other one, just with the you guys know what I'm saying. There it is, $449. That's a lot of money for a micro, but it's a micro that can do crazy things. All right, I mean, it looks like a standard Duo frame. Let me see. Oh, it's a ready to fly. That's cool. That would explain why it's so much, too. Acrobat Duo... all up weight of 2... Oh, excluding the battery. I was going to say, how the hell did they do that? It doesn't tell me if it's a specific version of... It doesn't look like it. It just says brand new Acrobat Duo 3-inch frame. And I had sort of assumed that Tommy set the Duo frame up to be tall enough to work with the air unit, just because of the sort of the timing of it being released. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's nice. Nice little back piece for the two antennas. And what I like about it is this back piece looks like it's a minimal amount of TPU. The typical back pieces for the Acrobrats for the antennas, that whole panel there is TPU, and it's like real heavy. Whereas this one, the majority of that panel is empty for the antennas to peek through. So I bet you this piece of TPU back here is not all that heavy, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. It's cool that it's an all-in-one. Or a ready to fly. They're gonna have to build a lot of those. Yeah, it's the Duo is an amazing frame. This combo is totally sound. These motors are awesome. They're not durable motors. Don't expect to slam this thing like crazy on concrete, as I've shown you guys in previous streams and even an edit. But other than that, shit, man, this would make a hell of a Cinewhoop. All you need is Stan's ducts. Stan FPV has Acrobrat specific ducts, of which there is a set coming my way for the V1 Acrobrat that we're gonna try to get fixed in a little bit here. So yeah, thumbs up, man. That's a cool combo, and having the air unit in there is pretty gnarly. That would be pretty cool to have HD on a micro. That's pretty cool. HD recording and FPV, I should say. So yeah, do it. If you got the scratch, go for it. What else do we have? We've got Short Circuit asking for a recommendation on a VTX, which we already covered. Nobby is retracting a message. Thank goodness. Can't get through a stream without a retracted message by Nobby. It's just kind of tradition around here. Guillermo is in the chat. What's up, Guillermo? Sick Fast asking what stack would be suitable for the iFlight Turbo B 66R. Also motors. Also the motors it has are 0804s, which went up in smoke. Looking for 3S. So I don't know what that rig is. My guess is it's a toothpick. Let's see. Oh no, it's not. It's a ducted jib jab, it looks like. Let's take a look at this here jib jab. Hello? There's ghosts, guys. Kristen's sleeping because she has a horrible headache. But there's a voice behind me. Good thing it's a 6-hour-long stream. Okay, Acro B66R bundle. Okay, so it's a toothpick-ish rig with ducts. They're 0804s, so an 0804 is going to draw roughly the amps of like 1103. As long as, I would say, as long as you've got an ESC north of like 10 amps, you should be fine. The fact that the ESC that it, the motors went up in smoke. Sick Fast. Hit me on something. CiottiFPV, Patreon, Instagram, Facebook, wherever, and we'll figure it out. Because I need to know like what went up in smoke. Was it the motors? Was it the ESC? I would actually recommend a different motor. The 0804 is not a great size in my opinion. 1103 is going to be a lot better size, and it's going to just be better. Hit me up. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. I need to know more than what we're going to accomplish here just in the delayed chat. All right, cool. Drone 3 Droid. Name is Mike. First built a copter in 2012. Lots of letters that I don't understand because I wasn't into this hobby in 2012. DJI Flame Wheel, fully autonomous drone. Switch to Android for ground station PID tuning. I'll do from there. Nice, man. Sounds about right. Tiago, Get FPV and RDQ have special coupons for veterans. Yes, they do. Good call, Tiago. Yeah. If you're a veteran, you got discounts waiting for you. I think Ready Made RC might also have a discount for veterans. Tweet looks forward to working with you. I look forward to working with you, sir. That's going to be a blast. Parts for bent toys. What about heated tape for colder climates? I mean, it'll be hot after you install it for a little bit when you heat it up. I don't know how you would possibly do like a heated grip. That would be cool though. You'd probably have better luck trying to put a heater inside of the transmitter, I think. Looks like Tweet's saying he's going to have grips available for the Tango 2 soon. That's awesome. Dark Sagan, window washer is a beast. I'm stealing his style. You and me both, Dark. Guillermo, why not Sud-American pilots, dude? Send me some, Guillermo. I like, for the most part, whatever pilot I was most recently kind of watching, I know I should plan these out a little bit better, but I'm busy as hell during the week. So a lot of times, like an hour before the stream, I'll just be like, shit, I forgot Pilot Spotlight, and I'll just go to my subs and scroll down. So all of you guys, hit me with, not in here, but hit me Patreon, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, with gnarly pilots, and they will at some point make it into the Pilot Spotlight for sure. Dark Sagan says, I think Ladrib gave him that name. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man. Getting a name from a pro pilot must be pretty dope. All right. Jay English had to leave for a bit, came back to scroll where I'd left and see you gave a robust answer to my question. Gonna head over to sign up for Patreon. Thanks for caring. Thanks to you for caring, Jay English. Very cool of you. Much, much, much appreciated. All right. There's where I called out my FPV, so I should be somewhat close. Supercell says, what's the guy at work on Saturday sitting at his desk thinking? Sounds like a joke. He's thinking, I wish I could be home. Hey, look at this. I'm almost caught up, guys. Holy crap. How did that happen? All right. We've got one or two more here. J Drones. Actually just done that. C-clip flew out of the bag. That sucks, Jay. Oh, God. I can't think of something more annoying because, like, doing it inside of the clear bag. J Drones is talking about the C-clips. Trying to get them off when you're inside of a goddamn clear sandwich bag is, like, it's so much more frustrating than trying to do it normally. And then for it to shoot out the opening is, very aggravating. Tiago says dry Teflon spray, oil grabs dirt. I don't know. That would be a good Google or YouTube search actually. Best way to lubricate brushless motor bearings would probably find some interesting info. I've had good luck with skateboarding oil, and skateboard bearings get horrendously dirty. Like I said, they do have rubber covers, which work a little bit better than the metal covers. But the cheaper skateboard bearings do have metal guards. So I don't know. I'm interested in what would be best there though. Killer Bee, that was my plan for the spares. Awesome. And that might be it. Short Circuit saying thanks to you. Zongning saying, do you fly whoops? I do when they work. I've had a hell of a time with tiny whoops not working. The newbie drone brushless prototypes were kind of a nightmare. Before that, Beta FPV sent me a 65X, which was a complete nightmare. 2S on a whoop was just way too much, way too heavy for flying inside, and then for flying outside, as soon as you crash, the plastic frame just implodes, and like the props get bent, the motors get all fucked up. I just don't understand the 2S whoop thing unless you absolutely have to have something that's ducted to fly outside. But don't crash because it's gonna explode. Heated carbon tape, no problem. Transmitter batteries would suffer though. Heated carbon tape? What is that? J Drone's asking if I checked out Drib's last data. I did. I mean, he's just a freak. Dude's a freak. He might be the best pilot, the best freestyle pilot in the world. Although I don't know if there is. Everybody's styles are so different that I don't think there is a best. But yeah, gnarly. I mean, just ridiculous. Everybody should watch every single one of Drew's edits because they remind you of what things are actually possible with the things that we all fly. Droid, everyone stop typing until Ciotti catches up. The disjointed conversation is hard to follow. Good on you. Appreciate it. Okay, cool. Hey, look, Big Willie, me too. Bone Speed Cream. That's exactly what I use. I use that, and I use this one that I got towards the end. Oh, and the sticker peeled off. All right, well, Can't tell you what it is because the sticker peeled off. It came with a little nozzle that has basically like a syringe on it. So the tiny little thin syringe. So I can put it right at the gap, the tiny little gap of the bearing, and it puts all of the oil directly in. I want to say it's Oust. Let me do a really quick search. O-U-S-T, I think, is one of the companies. Oust bearings. It might not be Oust. It is Oust, and I think that's their spray. Oust bearing oil. If I remember this, I remembered it. Look at me. I am not as brain dead in my old age as I thought. All right, here you guys go. Here's what I use. Oust Met Oil Speed Oil, and it's all about this little, I mean, you could probably just go on Amazon and get like a little syringe, but I don't know. This is what I bought when I was into longboards 7 or 8 years ago, I guess, and has lasted a while. The company's name is Oust. They always made really good downhill bearing. Yeah, there you go. There's a better picture. Yeah, this little tip with the syringe is just awesome. Puts the oil where you want it, not where you don't. There it is on Weir Skate. Look at that. I can't believe I remembered that. I'm very proud of myself. All right. Let's get this out of here. Cool. Man, I can't believe I'm caught up. Big Willie FPV. Try the Emax Tiny Hawk 2. I crashed mine hard and it's still great. No breakage as of yet. That's good to hear, Big Willie, because when last time Joshua was here and we were flying his Tiny Hawk 2 on 1S, it was not great. It felt like a Cinewhoop, which is kind of cool in a way. Like I'm very interested in the Emax Tiny Hawk 2. I wish they would send me one. If you guys are ever talking to Emax, or I don't know, like replying to a comment on their board or something like that, you know, maybe throw CiottiFPV in there and be like, hey, you should send one to him. He does 4+ hours of live streams and $200+ of giveaways every single week, and has exploded from 1,000 to 3,000 subs in almost less than a month. Maybe they'll send me one. And then there's that. That's really good to hear because, yeah, on 2S, I'm sure it rips outside, and for it not to explode would be awesome because then you could really just, like, fly around people, not be so worried about killing someone. Don't fly around people because it's bad, but if you're gonna, make sure it's with something ducted. Drone Through Droid noticed that many pilots skateboarded in a previous life or still do. That and play guitar. Also, cars is a very common previous hobby. I fall into a bunch. I played drums, so I got the music covered for many, many years. I was in motorsports for many, many years, and I longboarded for a year and a half before I dislocated my left shoulder really bad and pretty much stopped. Where is she? How you feeling, baby? I'm good. Better? Yeah. There's even a cat behind me, guys. You want to see the cat? I haven't brought the cat on the stream. Let me see if I can corral the cat for you guys. He has not made an appearance in a while. Just in case it takes me a minute, though, I'll give you guys some music because I already, this is already going to get copyright bitten, so that I can't monetize it, which I don't give a rat's fat ass about because monetizing videos on YouTube to try to make any money is a fool's errand unless you have a huge following. Alright, so here's a jam while I try to get the cat. Yeah, I don't like that jam. That's a good one. Be right back, maybe with a kitten. Look at that. I even faded it out for you guys. Here he is. Oh, he's so unhappy. Here's Harold. I'll put him on my desk. Oh, God. He's got my shirt. Oh, boy. Oh, God. Relax. Control your rage. Control your rage. Oh, my God. It hurts so bad. Relax. Oh, thank you. Thank you, buddy. No, don't. Come on. It's okay. Just, this is a new shirt that David sent me. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. All right, here he is. There's our boy. Get up on that desk. Say hi to the people, buddy. Turn around. Turn around so they can see you. There he is. There's my buddy. There's the most expensive kitten in the world. Harold Potter in the flesh. Harry Potter in the thresh. Yeah, this is the marathon stream bot. I'm going for 6 hours. I'm going to try to stream from 3 o'clock until 9 when Jamie Ann's stream starts. So we'll see. At the end of pretty soon, actually, I'm just gonna stop this stream and I'm gonna change the name of the stream to fixing quads and restart it right away. All right, my boy is scared shitless right now, so I'm gonna let him go. Oh, come on, you go, boy. Oh God, tried to get me. I gotta get the hair off my shirt, or I will scratch my nose nonstop because I'm allergic to cats. Hang on. Ooh.
I was lost in a cloud of doubt, in a sea of questions. Kept swimming, but it got me nowhere. I was starved by the endless drought, by unlearned.
Fading stuff out. Come on now. I haven't screwed up at all tonight. It's weird. Feels weird. I guess it's not tonight. It's today. DJ, what's going on, man? What's going on with you? How was your? I didn't make it. I was angry at myself. But how was your Friday night stream? I was busy wallowing in my own sadness and despair and just general, misery. Oh my God. All right. Oh God.
Here,
Oh man.
I brought you a shirt.
Can you bring me a shirt? All right. I might need to literally change my shirt. That was a dumb idea. I don't know why I thought he wouldn't freak out and shed all over me.
You want to give me that shirt?
Ugh!
You're gonna do like a
I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait it out.
naked stream?
It's definitely not gonna do that. Everybody will leave. All right, I got a backup shirt just in case it doesn't get better. DJ, how do you like the Tango 2? Public. Ooh, it went public. No shit. You guys should go over to Bot's Patreon. His Patreon is awesome, and he does early release stuff. So you get to see, you could have maybe seen the Tango 2 video ahead of time. Show Bot some love as well. DJ's the man. And he says Tango 2 rules. Yeah, Kevin has had his for a couple months. And so I got to check that out a while ago. I was pretty impressed. All right, cool. Let's do a thing. Look, it's 4:59 and we're caught up on the chat and we did the things that I said we were going to do in the description. So in a minute or two, we will end this. All I'll have to do is rename it, change the thumbnail, and then I'll relaunch the stream. And I might as well move the camera while I'm at it. So I'll move the camera over here to the bench and I'll figure out the lighting. And yeah, we'll fix some shit. We're going to fix the V1 Acrobat first because all it needs is an ESC. And I have the ESC tinned with the power lead on, so that shouldn't be that bad. We can at least get one thing done. And then at that point, I think I'll fix my two 5-inch rigs because they're easy to fix as well. And then if we have time, we'll dig into the Scratch Duo build, which I have all the parts for. It'll be my first time building something or flying a Runcam hybrid, so that'll be exciting. And it'll also be our way of finally testing these Beta FPV 1505s. Oh, my nose. I'm also going to change my shirt. Fair warning. We'll be able to check out these Beta FPV 1505s, which I think will be the motor to end all motors for the time being until somebody comes out with a 1405 or a 1605 or maybe even a 1604. We'll see. But yeah, let me hit some buttons. Drone 3 Droid, I'm glad you're wallowing a little bit less. And Meat Breath. Woo! That's a name right there. Yeah, so stand by for 60 seconds. I'll do... Actually, you know what? I can do it now, so there's even less of a gap. Okay, cool. Let me do it over in the side screen here. The fair warning, the... Oh, Billy, good. Thank you, Billy. Thank you. Okay, Vert, what's it called? Hyperlow Vert V2. Let's look at this really quick. Again, if you missed the beginning of the stream, this was sent to me by Billy, Supercell FPV, for a giveaway. It needs to be tuned, and I'm just going to kind of break it down a little bit and just look around the frame, and then we'll do a crazy giveaway. This is going to be an insane giveaway. Billy put some amazing parts in here. T-Motor F80s, big old 2408 bastards with the strangest KV ever for such a big motor. I don't understand why they did 1900 KV. A big motor like this, I would want to run like a 5.5 inch or a 6 inch prop on, but not at 1900 KV. 1900 KV basically means that you really have to run like you wouldn't want to go past like a 5046 or something like that. Very strange. Joshua has talked about this before too. They picked a very odd KV for these. But that being said, you could just throw a throttle curve on it and run whatever the hell prop you wanted. It's probably what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this up for a throttle curve. This frame, and even like the mount, he's got a pretty up-tilty mount. I would guess like 40 degrees. This build with these motors is a really good mid to long range 5-inch rig. So I'm going to set this up with a throttle limit on it, maybe of like 80%. And then I'm going to put this on 50-55s. GemFan has a 5055 prop that has these humongous blades with a ton of pitch. And with that setup, this thing should be able to cruise at like 100 miles an hour. So yeah, that'll be the build for this, because I just think that the motors and the frame and this mount, they all kind of lend themselves to that sort of a build. And it looks like Billy was doing the same thing, 80% with a 50-51. Perfect. So yeah, that'll be interesting. This is going to make Boku power, and he did say that it needs to be tuned. But let me check this bottom tray mounting thing out that this has, which is super interesting. So on the bottom here, for anybody that didn't see it, let me catch one of the direct reflections off one of these lights. It's got sort of a, there we go. It's got a seam in the bottom plate there that you guys can hopefully see. And then on the back, there's another one. And that's what I'm going to remove. So there's 2 screws. So the inner screws, I'm sure, have to come out. And Tiago says, any solution for the Runcam hybrid screws not matching the Acrobrat Duo? When you say not matching, Tiago, what do you mean? Because the Duo, I talked to Tommy about this actually, the Duo was specifically made for the Runcam hybrid. Are you saying that the screws are too short maybe? Too long maybe? Let me know. Don't take the outer ones out. Yeah, just loosen them, you said, right? And then swing these little jib jabs out of the way. Alright, we got 3. Billy, do you happen to get a weight on this frame? My spidey sense tells me this is probably about 140-ish gram frame. But, and I'm talking no TPU, like totally dry. I'm wondering if you got a weight on it. Billy's got some titanium hardware in here too. Very, very nice. Alright. So there's all 4. Ouch. 120, not bad. especially for a frame that's got this much going on. Okay, so there's the 4 things. Let me show you guys what I just did. So I took out the inner screws. Gotta catch that light again. There it is. So I took the inner screws out, which were here, and that lets these little jib-jabs rotate outwards. So now that center section is free, and I assume, yep, I can just pull it right up and off. That is a pretty cool design. So now we have access to the flight controller, the VTX, and the receiver. All in there. So, all right, so let's say I have to fix the ESC. So to get at the ESC, pretty standard, you got to pull the flight controller off, and then, so the ESC is soldered kind of upside, so it's tight in here. All right, so this is very, very tight. So this is going to be a challenging build for sure. The ESC is very tight, and it looks like Billy has soldered the motor wires to the top, when looking at it like this, to the top of the ESC, most likely because there's a nice gap there between the top of the ESC and the top plate. So that becomes admittedly a pain in the ass to service, but the solution to that is race wires, which he's got on all 4. So the race wires make that a lot easier, especially for like swapping a motor. If you blow the ESC though, that's going to be a pain in the ass job. Other than that, access to the flight controller is fine. The receiver is right here. That's fine. The VTX is right here. And he even used a big boy TBS. What's TBS's? Unify HV, which is like the huge, just the massive VTX. With like a Tramp or a 5-volt Unify, this would be a lot easier to fit. But even with the big boy, it still does fit. And yeah, let me look at the wire routing. So camera here, camera comes up. Yeah, the wire routing wouldn't be too big of a problem. I always look at that because with bad wire routing, you can really struggle with noise in the video. And then it's got a nice little setup in the rear here to hold an SMA. That totally works. Yeah, nice frame. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't want to have this be a basher frame, even though I think it could take a lot of abuse. The second that you have to replace like an arm or one of these standoffs, like there's just a lot of hardware. So that might be challenging. The other thing that they did, and Hyperload does this a lot on a lot of their frames, is they have elevated the rear arms a little bit, so the rear motors are a little bit higher than the fronts, which helps the rear motors get into a little bit cleaner air. When you got this thing nose down, moving in forward flight, you want to try to get the cleanest air possible to these rears, so they've raised them up to try to do that. And that's a good thing. The only thing that weirds me out about that is that it starts to mix, like your center of gravity is now dependent upon different front to rear. Who knows if that has any actual effect, but it's something that could potentially be a little weird. I doubt it, but who the hell knows? Other than that, yeah, really nice frame. This is, somebody's going to be getting one hell of a rig. So we got to do something. I got to think up of something cool for this giveaway. Very cool. Totally serviceable. The only thing that would be a pain in the ass would be like broken arms, and if you blow an ESC up. It's going to be more work than a standard like 8 standoff, regular old boring alien style frame. Very cool. And the other really neat thing that I like, they've got a little platform for the battery to sit on. It's going to be really hard for me to show you this, but just take my word for it. They've got a little platform that you can actually raise up, so you can adjust how high or how low the battery sits, which is really cool because that'll let you adjust your center of gravity. For some reason, if you want your center of gravity to be higher, you can do that with this cool little battery pad. So really neat, really interesting frame. I won't be switching over to them because I bash the shit out of my frames, and I have to have serviceability like as really, really high up in the list of requirements. But for somebody that doesn't crash a lot, or for somebody that's looking for like a mid to long range rig, this is going to be good. It also even looks like it's Stretch X. This, well, I can tell you for sure. So front to back, it's looking like 19 and a half. Oh God, yeah. Left to right is 17. So yeah, that's very, not very, but that's stretched X for sure. Again, something else that lends this thing to be like a mid to long range rig. Damn, very cool. Very nice work, Hyper Low. Thanks for the hookup, Billy. Everybody else in the stream also thanks you. Oh, toilet tank. Really? Does it have the slots? I assume if you're saying that, then it has the slots. And that's... Yeah, I can see them. Very cool. So yeah, this top plate is also set up for toilet tank. Very cool. Very, very cool frame. Challenging build, I can tell. But once it's built, if you're using it in the right way, you shouldn't have to pull it apart much, if at all. So, cool. I think that's everything. That actually reminds me, though, I wanted to look around. Billy also hooked me up with a couple RXSRs. Thanks for that, brother. I use these on my micros. This little guy was sent to me by SkyeFPV, SKYE space FPV. He is on Thingiverse Sky_FPV. This is a cool little 3-inch racing frame. He also makes this in 4-inch. I love what he's done here with the canopy. This is actually not a forever tube. This is a carbon fiber, like a solid carbon fiber piece to help it with turtle mode. When it flips upside down, it's going to have plenty of room for the one side of motors and props to be free, so you can just zip it back over. Love that. And it's also extremely strong. Like, I'm really, like, I could probably push on it hard enough to break it, but I'm pushing on it pretty good, and it's just taking it. Flip stick, that's it. It's also got a similar setup to Kebab's glide frame, in that the front arms connect to the front arms, the rear arms connect to the rear arms, and that allows you to completely isolate the stack mounting bolts from the arms. So the stack mounting bolts are only connected to this upper base plate. They don't run through the arms, so that should reduce the amount of vibes coming through in theory. He also has a support for the front, which I really like. My feedback, though, on this frame is I think there should be another one of these for the rear. The reason being, before I forget, there are 6 arms included in the package, and that is so goddamn good. Frame makers, start putting extra arms in your packages so that you encourage people to fly them harder, and then they'll buy even more of your arms. So loving that, but I think when I build this, actually, I might put that support on the back arms, and this is why. So there are the outer screw holes, and then there's one single inner screw hole, and the way that they line up is that there's a hole cut out. Let's see if I can put that over my shiny ass forehead. See that? See, there's the hole cut out there. So that hole matches the inner, and that holds these solid. But if you put force in this direction, like that, there's not a lot of carbon here on the bottom to prevent that from folding in, right? So here what we're talking about is force in this direction, or in the front, force in this direction. So when you're nose down, you're probably not going to put force in this direction, right? Because you'd have to be going backwards and hit something. But the rear arms, if you come around like a gate, I can totally understand banging one of these rear arms on a gate, and and I can feel it. I don't know, maybe you guys can hear it. Hold on. Hear it? Like, there's a little bit of movement when you push in that direction. When I push these in this direction, it's very strong, because those two, I don't know, that joint is pushing solidly against itself. But when you push it in this direction, it's trying to open that joint, and you can definitely feel that. So with the hell, maybe the support is supposed to be for the rear for this reason. With the support in the rear, it won't do that because it would have to rip this support apart for these arms to fold in this direction. The only reason I'm harping on this is I broke for the first time a piece of hardware in the Glide because it has a similar setup. It doesn't have the single center point. It's got two left and right, but I managed to hit one of these arms on the Glide hard enough in this same direction to swing the arm back, and it actually sheared the inner bolt completely. So it pushed past that joinery, and then it sheared the bolt completely off. So I know it's possible to put that kind of force through the rear arms. Other than that, this thing is awesome. It's also got this really cool setup here where the TPU slots into the base plate, which I think is really neat and I've never seen before. So there's a lot of things that I like about this. I am going to put it together and fly it because I'm curious. I've not flown a StretchX racing 3-inch frame. So we'll see how it is, and then I'll give it away. And one of you guys can have an awesome little 3-inch frame. So yeah, thanks to CiottiFPV, SKYEFPV. This guy, the patrons know the fate of this little Gep RC squirt or spec, or I forget what it's called, but it's their HD toothpick. Within 4 batteries, I have completely destroyed the TPU, completely obliterated the stack mounting setup. For some reason, they used all plastic to mount the stack, and those mountings are all shared with the canopy. So I didn't crash this thing hard, but it just fell to pieces. So at some point, I do want to do a little review on this, a review stream, and then we'll tear it apart on the bench, and I will show you guys, if you already have this, how to fix this horrible decision to use plastic hardware on the stack and replace that with metal so that this thing will actually become somewhat durable. Although what really sucks is the TPU let go in the front here. They printed this TPU in this this down against the bed, so it printed up like this, and what that does is that makes it very easy for the TPU to split, and that's exactly what happened here. Is the TPU split in the front, so now it can talk, and that's no good. So I will use a soldering iron and maybe even a torch to try to melt this back together in the front here, which will look like hell, but it should work pretty good. Melting TPU back together is pretty strong. So yeah, that's the ongoing saga of that. And then the only other thing I wanted to show you guys, I got this from Brain FPV, and it's awesome. This is an ND filter and SD card holder. It is fully 3D printed. You can pick your bottom color, your top color, and your logo color. For the logo color, use black, because I used purple, and you got to remember that it's TPU and it's clear, so it disappeared. Like, you can't really see where it says Brain 3D very well. So if you have this done, make sure that your top color is like black, or else it won't show up. I mean, it doesn't matter, but just a thing that I learned. And then yeah, it's got different slots for your ND filters, and what I really like is it has them labeled, because it's really easy to get your ND filters confused, and then it's just a pain in the ass. So yeah, it holds 2 ND filters per spot, and then it's got a little slot for SD cards. So super, super, super handy little ND filter holding solution. And it slots together really nice. It's got one up in the front, and then it's got the corners that kind of snap in. And yeah, just a really, really well thought out, well made ND filter and SD card holder, which is, I mean, something that I needed, so maybe you guys need it too. Very impressed. Love this little guy. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here for this one. I'm gonna. Oh wait, no, I can do it right now, real quick. All right, so I want to go to live stream, and I'm gonna change the. Oh, no, I can't do this, because if I do this now, it will change the name of this stream. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna stop streaming. I'm gonna change it as quick as I can, and then I'm gonna come right back. So hang out, hit CiottiFPV here, I guess it would be, and like check out an edit maybe while I'm doing this, and then I'll be right back. You guys rule. Thanks for hanging. I will see you in 60 to 120 seconds. Actually, no. It's going to be closer to 120 because I got to move the camera and shit. But I'll see you guys in a minute. Be good. Be right back.